What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. In this video we're going to start working on the trunk and start doing the body work on the trunk. There's a little bit of rust that I want to fix, and I want to fill in the two emblem holes for the Honda badge that was on the back, because I'm not going to have a badge on it. I don't do badges. But yeah, so we got the Honda right here sandwiched in between the other two trucks, this one being broke. Still looking for a frame. I gotta find one. Not too many around here, so I'm gonna see about maybe buying a couple of frame pieces and patching something together for it, or going somewhere else that has a frame. And as far as the daily, that thing's doing great, no problems. Needs more, needs to be louder, needs a little exhaust action, but other than that, it's pretty good. And so yeah, we're gonna fire this thing up. So I got this thing all pulled in behind me here, and I want to work on, like I said, the trunk. I want to take a look at the rust that's going on, which I'll show you guys, and I also want to work on filling in those holes. So we are going to pop the trunk on this thing, and we're going to have to take the whole thing apart. Alright, so when I have the trunk popped, you can see these bolts down here are rusted. So I think it was the bolts rusting or whatever that started the rust on the actual trunk itself. You can see through the slot there. I know you can see the rust in there. So that is what I want to stop, because that is eventually going to make its way through this side and bubble on my nice paint job once I paint it. Right now it looks great. This is like the only part of the car with any clear coat on it. But it looks awesome, but it's not going to look good in a few years. And I'd like it to last at least that long. So I'm going to try to take all of these bolts out, and they're all rusted, so that's definitely going to be a task. I'm about to hit them with a little bit of WD-40 or some fluid film or something to dissolve that rust a little bit, just so I can get them loose, hopefully not snap them all. But I think these three middle ones, especially this center one, might snap. So it is what it is. I don't know, I'll deal with it once I snap it, I guess. But I'm going to take these out. These guys are just these two little plastic looking nuts here, and then I assume, yeah, there's a couple more on the inside, so I'm going to do those, and this whole trim piece has to come off, so it'll just be these Phillips screws, and probably the lights will come out, license plate will take off. So I'll walk you guys through it as I go, and we'll see if we can get this all taken apart. 1, 2, 3, 4 loose. This is the one I thought was going to give me a problem. Honestly, these two, not even a problem. Let's see how this one does. Oh, and it's gonna come out too. Wow, gotta hand it to Honda there, really. Even the rusted ones, they come right out. Look at that, it's threading right out, no problem. Love it. Alright guys, so I got both of the lights out of the trunk. They were not too bad. It's just these four 8mm, they're like plastic, but they have metal like nut inserts on the inside of them. So pull all four of those guys out. All mine were really good shape, not rusted at all. But then the tough part is prying this gasket off, and mine honestly came off in pretty good shape. This one did get a little bit torn up right here on the bottom, so I may have to fix it. I already made new gaskets for the outer taillights. I made them out of craft foam, so maybe doing that again. I don't know if I made a video of that or not, but I'll show you guys if I end up doing that. But I don't know, at least this one right here is totally fine. It came off in one piece, so I think we'll be good to reuse that. But yeah, I just really only have to undo this one connection and all the wiring comes out. But if you look, we can see the two pieces, and all those bolts are out, or the nuts are off of the bottom, so you can see this guy has some flex to it, so he's about ready to come off. But there are some more bolts. You can see this little connection area right here. Maybe it's too dark, but there are bolts on the underside, and I'm gonna try to locate all of those. But yeah, I should probably take this chrome trim piece off and the license plate first. So I'm gonna do that. I've been toying around with the idea of deleting the lock cylinder hole, just because like I can open the trunk from the inside, and I think it would be super clean to shave this, get rid of it. Yeah, anything to make the car less functional. I love doing that. Like my truck, put the handle on the inside of the tailgate, you know? I love doing stuff like that. But yeah, it's all for looks, guys. So gonna pull off this chrome piece here and yeah, see what it looks like under there. I do want to paint all the chrome pieces on the car, so I'm gonna probably sand them, epoxy primer them, and shoot them whatever color I do the car, so everything should match nice. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off and do those bolts, and we'll see what we're working with. All right, so it was just a matter of, let's see, 1, 2, and 3 more that were nuts from the inside here, pretty easy to get to. And it looks like this whole piece just comes out, just like that. So yeah, we can see exactly what we're looking at here, and it does look like the bottom side of this is pretty rusted. Yeah, point out a couple of areas right here, all these little areas, this whole bead section here. So yeah, we definitely have a good amount of stuff that we got to look into fixing, and hopefully I can get into all these tight areas and get all the rust that has formed. So yeah, definitely gonna be looking at some work on this, and I'll show you guys what the state of the rest of it is. So if you look back here, you can see we had a moth in there, and you can see that we're starting to transfer rust onto this piece right here. But this piece is mainly the inner piece here, so not too bad, just a little bit of rust here. Yeah, all in all, not bad on this piece at all. But the other guy, he is having an issue, so we're gonna have to fix that. But as of right now, you know, everything's all right. Honestly, the car could be drivable if I put like the plate on and the lights back on. Yeah, it wouldn't even be an issue. So that's good to know. Don't necessarily have to have the car disabled while I'm working on this panel, but it is gonna be nice to just give this thing a once over, make sure I know that it's good so that it's not going to rust on us just like the rest of the things I've been going after. So I do think I want to delete this guy. So popping that out, we can see that we definitely have a big ridge in there, so I'd have to grind that flat and then put a piece from the inside, and then we can fill that. Shouldn't be too hard, considering all the other work I have to do on this. I'd say that's probably the easiest thing to do. But yeah, so I'm going to probably get started on this in a few minutes. So I got this thing all cleaned off over here on my bench, and I think what my game plan is, I'm gonna take these guys out first off, but I'm gonna take my new cookie wheel, you know, just air tool pneumatic grinder, 36 grit paper, and I'm just gonna grind off as much of this rust as I can. You know, not too much on the outsides, which is good, but there is some on this lip here on the inside, so I'll probably end up grinding some of the seam sealer out and trying to get rid of as much as I can. This is the worst of it over here, this section. So I gotta grind all that out, and yeah, so I'll grind this and this, but the areas that I can't get, like in here as well as in here, where it's rusted on the other panel, and that's actually the panel that's gonna show. So that's the one that I really care about. That's the one that, you know, on this side, you will see when that comes through, and it'll bubble on the bottom here. So I do not want that. That is why I opened this up, because I knew it was going to be like that. So I need to sandblast in there, I think, and then whatever I can't get, hit it with rust converter. I don't want to have to, but I may have to cut these holes a little bigger to get in there and make sure that it's not going to get any worse. So that's the plan. Hopefully I can get it nice and cleaned up and lasting for, you know, many years to come. So I'm gonna go ahead and get grinding on it. Wow guys, so I got my new Harbor Freight grinder. I don't realize how messed up my other one was, but this one is great. This thing cranks. My other one was never like this. So I'm gonna get onto this and tear it up. So I think that's where I'm going to call it tonight. But as you guys can see, I got this thing pretty well grinded, or ground, however you want to say it. But got most of the rust off, except for these areas that I can't get to. So yeah, I'll proceed working on it maybe tomorrow or the next night or whatever, and we'll get it done. Alright guys, so it's the following day, and I think I already gave you a look at this last night, but yeah, today I'm going to work on sandblasting, and I do think that I want to cut some of this inner area out with a die grinder. I'm going to see if I can get a die grinder set up. I don't know if I have any wheels, but I'm going to see if I can cut this just a little square, and then I can attack this rust on both of these, because these are like the really bad areas, and then there's a couple little areas down here that if I can't get them with the sandblaster, then I think that I'll just cut it out as well. Even though I hate to cut it up, you'll never see this. This faces the back side of the trunk, so you'll never even know that I cut it up. But yeah, car looks pretty interesting without that piece on there. I was thinking it would definitely be cool if I made it one piece, like this piece and the other one, if I like welded it together here and it was just seamless. And I'm definitely gonna get rid of this too, so I gotta pull that out and seal up that hole. But yeah, so I'm not gonna do it just because that piece is rusty and I don't want to permanently affix it to this trunk, you know, ruin this trunk with that rusty piece there. But yeah, I think that might be interesting to do, but I'm not gonna do it. So I gotta get rid of this lip on the inside of here in order to fill this. I'll probably try to panel bond a piece of metal in here. That should work just fine. So I have some panel bonder left. I don't know if I have any tips though. I'm gonna have to grab some. But yeah, so I'm gonna grind this down. Careful not to warp anything. And then after that, I'll just grind the surrounding area, and then I will hit it with some panel bonder and put a little piece in there, and then just use some filler from the other side, just like I've done with a lot of the other things on the car that I've filled in. So I think that'll look nice. It'll be clean. And yeah, so I'm gonna get started on those things tonight, and probably sandblast in here too because it's a little bit rusted. But I'm gonna get the sandblaster ready and start working on that first, I think. Alright, so you guys could probably tell, got it sandblasted, and honestly, I am pretty happy. I'm going to have to look in there in the right light, but I think that I got rid of most of the rust. I don't think I'm going to cut it up. I think that I'm going to attempt to spray some rust converter in there and do it heavy, but I do think that we're going to be good to go here. I have most of the rust cleaned up. I'm just going to do like a nice dusting with the rust converter. I'll probably give this whole thing a scuff first and then rust convert it, let it bake in the sun for a little while. They want a super long time to dry, but I never do that. So this is what it is. We'll see. Maybe I'll wait, maybe I won't. I think I'm just gonna hit it with some self-etching primer since it's like the back and it'll never get seen. Don't really care. I'll just leave it self-etching primer, and then maybe I'll shoot a little bit more primer on it when I do prime the front of this piece here. But yeah, so for right now, we're looking pretty good. Gonna go ahead and get it all sanded and then cleaned up. So I've always had this Dremel and these cutoff wheels, but I never actually ended up using it. So I kind of want to try it out and see how this works. I was watching some of Built's videos, and he uses that for everything, cutting sheet metal and all kinds of stuff. So I don't have the easy lock ones, or at least I don't have the locking part of it. I have some of the discs, but yeah, we'll see if this guy works for now. It barely fits in there, so I'm just gonna have to try to work my way around and see if I can dig that little ridge out. 'Cause I don't know if you can tell on camera, but yeah, I think you can. There's like a little ridge here, and I need this to be flat so I can panel bond a flat piece in here and get nice good adhesion. So we'll fire this thing up and see what we can get. So I got this guy ground on the other side. It's ground on both sides. My dog's barking, but ground on both sides, ready to be panel bonded. And I figured while I was at it, I should probably use like the last tip that I have here. It's like a super long one here. It's kind of wasteful, but I should probably use that and the last of the material, and also do these two holes in the back at the same time. So I'm going to try a different method for this. I'm going to grind this in back all the way around. And after I grind it like crazy, I'm going to grind it on this side, file the edges, and then I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to just put panel bonder all over the tape, and then I'm going to squish it in from the inside until it sort of oozes out over here, and then I'll smooth it over. And then what that should do is create like it'll mushroom out on the back and make like a plug that you definitely can't push out from this side because it's stuck in an area this big, and from the other side, this little plug won't fall off because it's got the whole back to it. So I think that should be pretty strong, and it won't be like a long plug or anything because it's just the thickness of the sheet metal. So it should be really good. I think that's going to work out just fine. So I'll try it, and I guess I'll be the guinea pig. You guys will see if it holds up, but I think it's going to. That panel bond is good stuff. So I got to get inside of the trunk and grind the back side of this. I'm not sure if I'm going to use a wire wheel. I got to get something in there because there's like a brace right here. I'll show you guys after I open the trunk. But yeah, I got to grind that to bare metal, and then I'll mix up some panel bonder and get these things glued up. So as you guys saw, I cut this guy out and I just hit him with a cookie wheel, and I got him all nice and cleaned up, bare metal. Also have some pieces of tape to affix him in once I get him in there. I was thinking about using that method or maybe a different method. I'm not really sure yet. I got to think about it a little more, but this guy is ready to go. And I also went ahead and took the grinder to the outside of these holes here. Still got to get it cleaned up from the inside, but I got it pretty good most of the way cleaned up. You can probably see the holes in there. Flashlight's kind of ruining it, but yeah, so those holes are looking almost cleaned up. I was hitting it with 80 grit sandpaper by hand, but it's pretty difficult to get in there, so that's especially why I'm just going to use the tape method. And yeah, we'll see how well the tape method holds up. So right now I'm going to probably just clean everything off with denatured alcohol and then get the panel bonder flowing, get all this stuff glued up. Alright guys, so I accomplished my goal for tonight. I got this guy all panel bonded in there. You can see it from the other side. Oozed out good, and I spread it out nice. So I'm going to wait 24 hours. I didn't even bother taping it. I'm just going to let gravity hold that thing in place. It's not going anywhere. And as far as the holes up here, I did what I was going to say, or what I said I was going to do, and I did the tape method. So I just put a bunch on the back side of the metal, put a bunch on the tape, and then I just squished it through, and everything you see there is stuff that oozed out So we know that we got good press out, and we know we got it way mushroomed out on the back and mushroomed out in the front too. So should be pretty solid. I don't think I'm gonna have any issues with this. So we'll wait for all this stuff to cure, and we'll be good to go. So I think that's going to cap it off for tonight. I might hit this with a little bit of rust converter, but yeah, then I'm ready for primer. So we'll move on to the next phase, but I'm probably going to end up taking the trunk off and the spoiler off too, and then just doing the whole trunk and the other trunk piece as an assembly. So I think that'll probably be in the next bodywork video. So I appreciate you guys watching. Bear with me. This bodywork is brutal. There's so much of it. I feel like I'm barely making a dent in it, but we are getting there. Things are coming. So gotta look for a truck frame. Keep saying that, but I just like working on this Honda so much. But I do have to get the truck back up and running. So I don't know. At some point, I'll be taking a break, working on the truck. Hopefully you guys don't mind. But once the truck is up and running with a new frame, I'd like to do some fun stuff with that too. I think turboing the truck would be really sweet. So that's gonna come, but later on down the road. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. Remember to like the video, and if you're not subscribed, please do that. It helps out. We're like at 570 now, so pretty awesome. I'm pretty pumped. Over 500, like that's awesome. So can't wait to get to 1,000. That's like really big milestone. So we're shooting for that. So hopefully I'm gonna get some driving videos coming up soon, so you guys can hear some more turbo noises and stuff like that, because that's cool stuff. I know you guys, I don't know, I'd be bored of the body work, I know, but it's all part of the process, so I know you guys get that too. But yeah, thanks for watching once again, and see you guys in the next one.